Are we gonna climb a wall today, Steph?
Yes, we are.
Hi everyone, it's Pauline Michelle and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are keeping well. I hope you guys are keeping inside, and above all else, I hope you guys are keeping safe during this crazy isolation period. I hope that everything is going well, and just to make things a little bit more cheery, let's dive in to another video. So on this particular day, ladies and gents, we were actually in Kotor, Montenegro. We had a late arrival. We arrived at around 2 p.m. and we didn't leave until 8 p.m. So with a limited time in port, we needed something that was going to be short yet significant for us to do, and that led us on to the city walls excursion. Now this excursion you can actually do on your own as well, and it is pretty inexpensive to do, and for what you see, it certainly won't disappoint. Planning to go to Kotor, especially via cruise ship, one tip that I will give you is to not miss your sail into Kotor. The reason for that being is that Kotor is actually located within the Bay of Kotor. Now, as you make your way into port itself, you will actually find yourself in a river submerged canyon surrounded by the rias around you. It is truly a fantastic and stunning experience. Definitely a few snapshots to be taken there. Now, like my previous Santorini video, we use the tendering process to get the guests from ship to shore. Now, the reason why we do this is because the pier at Kotor isn't very large. It can't accommodate more than one ship at a time. So one ship will usually be docked there, and the rest of the ship will set up anchor and simply just lower their lifeboats and use them to transport the guests from ship to shore. And then arriving onto the pier, the girls and I made our way to the city walls. Now, to access the city walls, you have to enter the old town, which is super easy. It's just walking distance from the pier. All in all, to walk from the pier within the city walls took us around 5 minutes. After entering the old town, the city walls were really easy to find. One thing that I was really surprised about Kotor is the town itself is really well signposted, so you shouldn't find any trouble finding your way to the city walls. I don't remember how much it was to actually get in and what the admission price was, but I do know that it was less than 10 euros, around 6 to 8 euros. So for that price and pretty much a full day of activity, it was certainly a no-brainer. After paying admission to get into the walls, this is where things started to get active. Now, the walk itself really wasn't that bad. Now, if you do see some red-faced footage of me, don't be discouraged. I'm just severely unfit. But I would say that the walk itself is pretty moderate. The reason why I say this is because the walk itself is pretty steep. If you're wanting to walk the entire thing, it would take around 2 hours. But since we were rather pressed for time, it took us around 35 minutes to walk halfway and then walk back down again, but nonetheless the views that we got walking halfway was certainly worth it. As you can tell by the footage, the weather wasn't great. It actually rained pretty much all day, which turned out to be a good thing because we originally wanted to cancel. We said like, oh, we best not go out because it's raining. But then we thought, you know, we made plans, we're going to see them through. And at the end of it, we felt some really cool sense of achievement that we went out and did it regardless of the weather. And also at around that time, the weather was super hot. In fact, the week before was really, really hot. And we were about to do something super physical, so the fact that we had a little bit of moisture in the air, the fact that it was a little bit windy and a bit breezy, it made walking up the city walls so much easier. And not to mention, as we came down, we got to meet some really cute feline friends as well, so it ended up being a really, really, really good day despite the weather. And that takes us to our fun fact of the day. Now, the old town of Kotor is surrounded by old fortresses that were built during the Venetian period. The city of Kotor became a UNESCO heritage site in 1979 and also is considered one of the best preserved medieval old towns within the Adriatic. So if you haven't already considered coming to Kotor, definitely consider going there. It is absolutely stunning and will not disappoint. After making it up to the halfway point, we decided to turn around and start our descent back down. And one thing was collectively on our minds, which was food. By the time we had done walking, we were absolutely starving. Now, one thing I'll say about Kotor in general is that it's pretty inexpensive to go and eat. Everywhere collectively around Old Town, there certainly wasn't a shortage of places to eat, but most of them were pretty inexpensive to go and eat for lunch. Now, we ended up settling on a place called Restaurant Grad. It originally caught our eye because it was having a lunch special, but we ended up eating some of the local cuisine. I actually had a savory pancake with cheese and prosciutto, and as well I had a big bowl of pasta as well because again I was starving, and we actually shared whatever we ordered, which was really cool too. And as well I had a good Aperol Spritz to wash it all down. So after we finished our early dinner, we started to make our way back to the ship. One thing that really took me by surprise is how clean Kotor is. It's so beautiful and so very well preserved, and the cobblestone streets and the narrowness of the streets really give this place a character and a beauty that really needs to be seen up close because the footage really just doesn't do it justice. Also around the Old Town area, there is also a supermarket for the crew, as well as loads of souvenir shops and clothes shops that you can pop in and out and support the local vendors. And that brings us again to the end of another video. Thank you so much for joining me for this video on Kotor. I hope it's given you some inspiration on what to do while you're there. And before I go, just thank you so much to everybody who has remained inside, who's washed their hands. If your government's telling you to stay inside for one more month, then do it. 1 more month in isolation is nothing compared to the rest of your life in good health. So stay close with your families, enjoy, relax, and see you again when all of this blows over. Hopefully every industry, including my own, will come back stronger than ever after this. See you soon. Bye.